Okay, good morning. We're ready for exercise 6, day 82. In your math, this is 185, 186, and 187. We won't be doing 188, I don't think. All right, so let's look at page 185. All right, it says multiply and dividing fractions and mixed numbers. We just need to fill in the blanks on number 1 and number 2. Actually, on all of these, we just fill in the blanks, and it already gives us the answer or the example. Number 1, when multiplying two fractions, we do blank need to find blank denominators. So when you multiply two fractions, you do not need to find common denominators. So that goes in the first two blanks. When multiplying two fractions, we do not need to find common denominators. We simply blank across top and bottom like this. Simply multiply. You just simply multiply across the top and the bottom like this. So on number 1, it just wants you to put an example there. So why don't you pause it, just put an example, maybe 2/3 times 4/8 or something like that. Just two simple fractions, multiply across. That's all you got to do. Okay, number 2. When multiplying a whole number by a fraction, we place the blank number over blank and multiply. And then it says like this. So when multiplying a whole number by a fraction, just like in that example, we place the blank number over blank and multiply. So in other words, what it's showing you is if you have this fraction, in order to multiply this, what we do is we put this whole number over 1. That's the answer on number 2. When multiplying a whole number by a fraction, we place the whole number over 1, and then you just multiply. Okay, number 3. The above equation could be written blank of blank. The word of means to blank. All right, so the above equation could be written 2/3 of 9. Because remember, the word of means to multiply. Number 4. When we divide a whole number by a fraction, we place the blank number over blank, then we blank the fraction. This new flipped fraction is called the original fractions blank. Finally, we multiply. And it says like this. Okay, then it says this problem is asking us how many blank are in blank. Okay, so let's go back to the top of number 4. When we divide a whole number by a fraction, we place the whole number over 1. That 9, where it says like this, that 9 would be over 1. Then we flip the fraction. This new flipped fraction is called the original fractions, what's that big word? Reciprocal. Okay, this problem is asking us how many 1/3 are in 9. All right, number 5. Any fraction multiplied by its reciprocal equals 1. Number 6, to divide two fractions, we blank the second fraction and blank as usual. So when you divide two fractions, you flip the second fraction and multiply as usual. Because remember, we have to change it to multiplication and take the reciprocal of the second number. Okay? All right, let's change or turn to the next page. Page 186 says, now let's add on to these concepts. Sometimes we need to multiply or divide mixed numbers or a combination of fractions and mixed numbers. When this happens, we must remember this. Always convert all mixed numbers into improper fractions before working through the problem. Okay, so when you subtract or you add, you can leave a mixed number the same, like 2 1/3. That's a mixed number. You can leave that, and you can divide, you can subtract or add those. But when you multiply or divide, those mixed numbers must become improper. So let's look at this word problem. Natty and Charlotte wanted to make Grandpa Peter his favorite date walnut cookie bars. Since no one besides Grandpa likes them, the girls decided to cut the recipe in half. This is what they did to find out how much flour and sugar they would need. They needed to find half of everything. Now, on the left-hand side, it shows the original recipe. On the right-hand side, there, right across from that, it shows the altered recipe. Okay, so they needed half of 2½ cups. Okay, remember, of means times. Notice you see where they put the arrow down from the word of, because of means times. So then they brought everything down. They needed, and just in your mind, when you come across problems like this, you know, during your everyday life, try to put, you know, if it's of, then put a times there so you'll know what to do. So they only needed half of 2½ cups of flour, so half of 2½ cups. Well, 2½ cups has to become, let me show you, 2½, that's a mixed number. It needs to become improper in order to use it in a multiplication problem. Remember, that's 2 times 2 plus 1. So that's where they get the 5 halves. So 1/2 of 2½ equals 5/4. Well, that's improper. When you simplify that back down, you get 1 and 1/4. Now, all this is in your book. So instead of using 2½ cups of flour and they're halving the recipe, then they're only going to use 1 1/4 cups because they don't want to make as much of it. Okay. Usually I'm halving it to add more to it. They're halving it to make it less. All right. So then they needed half of 1 3/4 cup of brown sugar. They did the same thing. They took 1 3/4 cup and they made it into an improper fraction, which was 7/4. They multiplied that by half and they got 7/8. So they would need, on the altered recipe, 1 1/4 cups of flour, 7/8 cups of brown sugar. Okay, now it says you try it, number 7 down at the bottom. So let's see if we can do this. Now, it says 3 1/5. I'm going to do one of these with you and let you do a couple more on your own. So 3 and, let me write this problem before you do anything because I need to write it. That's just simply how my brain works. 2/3. Okay, so this is the problem in your book. Okay, now in red, this is what you write. Okay, change both of these first to improper. 5 times 3 plus 1 is 16/5. So everything that's in red is what you should be writing and where you should be writing it. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 2 would be 20/3. Okay, now we multiply straight across. Now, 16 times 20. Well, what's 16 times 2? It's 32. Isn't that right? 16 times 2? Yeah, 32. But we have to add that 0. So 320. And then 5 times 3 is 15. Well, that's improper. So, this is what you would do next. We have to divide. We can't do this one in our heads. Okay. 15 goes into 32. How many times? 2 times. Because 15 times 2 is 30. So let's subtract 30. That'd be 2. Bring down our 0. How many times does 15 go into 20? 1 whole time. Minus 15. And that gives us 5. Now, it would be 21 whole times, and then 5/15. But can't 5/15 be simplified? Yes, 21 needs to stay the same. What does this simplify to? Okay, got that? Now, there you go. So I would like for you to do number 8 and number 9. So go ahead and pause it. When you turn it back on, I'll give you those answers and we'll see if you got those right. All right, the answer on number 8 would have been 56 and 7/16. 56 and 7/16. If you did not get this right, write the answer down at the bottom and circle it, like way down at the bottom or right above it, and erase everything you did and see if you can get the right answer. The answer to number 9 would have been 46 and 4/5. Again, if you did not get it right, write this down somewhere over there beside it, erase everything you did, and do it again until you get these answers. If you can't get them, come and see me. Okay? Now, I want you to do page 187 for a grade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There are 12. Okay? If you have trouble, come and ask me. Do not just guess. Okay? And if you need help on them, I will sit down and help you. The top 3 are the ones that we've just now. Actually, the top 3, 10, 11, and 12, those are just like the ones we just did at the bottom of page 186. However, the only difference is those are division. So you're going to have to take that second number and flip it and change it to multiplication. Well, number 10 is going to be easy because it's going to be times 8/3. But look at number 11 and number 12. Those are mixed numbers. The second numbers are. So you'll have to change those to improper first and then flip them. Okay? And then change it to times. If you need help, please ask me. Okay? That's all for today.